When you look at Silicon Valley for really the last almost 45 years or so, there's been generation after generation of great new companies that have come on the scene. It really happened because of a confluence of ingredients, if you will. A great place to live, a business-friendly environment, an environment that loved high technology. You stirred that up with venture capital, and out came companies from Intel, Applied Materials, to Google and Facebook. The association between the high-tech and computer industry and Nasdaq is one that I think is made in heaven, and so it ends up really being that heartbeat of the industry.
If you're a hot tech company, a new one like Google, or an old one like Oracle or Microsoft, you're probably on Nasdaq. That's where we're supposed to be. That's where technology companies belong.
I think the real strength of this area is just the culture of innovation and the access to technology talent. All of it is attributed to the quality of the people. I think as far as Silicon Valley, I think it's part of the Silicon Valley culture as well. One of innovation, one of striving, one of trying to achieve positive customer outcomes. Nasdaq is considered to be the home base for innovation and growth, and I think being associated with that is very much in line with the objectives of the firm.
When the Valley got started, it was primarily semiconductors. This would have been in the 60s and 70s, and from there we graduated to hardware, and from there to software, and then to communications and networking, and then to the internet, and all the while life sciences was building up in its own way, and now we're on to clean tech. I would like to say that we've helped to facilitate the process and enabled it to grow even faster than it might have otherwise. I think our association with the Nasdaq has done a lot to enhance our image. People associate the Nasdaq with entrepreneurship and with innovation and with growth.
When I founded Electronic Arts, it was very much a domestic company, and we didn't really get overseas productively for about 5 years. Digital Chocolate, from day one, was a global company. If you have liquidity, if you've got a publicly traded Nasdaq stock, it's a lot easier for people to appreciate the value of your currency. You can make a lot more moves on the chessboard. It's easier, I think, to attract and keep good people because they obviously can tell that there's going to be liquidity for their stock.
In 1990, I was right here in Silicon Valley, and I was building disk drives. Our employees were really proud when we listed our company on Nasdaq. It really gave us that credibility, both internally and externally, that we needed. First off, we celebrated our millionth phone and our 2 millionth phone. We brought out new products on Nasdaq, and it's great branding for us, and it was wonderful for our employees as well.
In the mid-'80s, it became the company we really are today, which is a time and frequency company focused on the communications industry. And Silicon Valley would be the logical place for a company like that. This is where the industry happens. This is where many of our best engineers come from, and our best talent. And so this really represents the right place for a company like ours to be. Nasdaq is synonymous with the tech industry. Lends a certain amount of credibility to us as a company by being a Nasdaq listed company.
In 1990, I was here at Wilson Sonsini, Goodrich & Rosati, practicing securities law, and the Valley was obviously growing. These are very passionate people. They're the kind of people, in many cases, you'd imagine in the 1600s, getting on boats and exploring around the world. Nasdaq has been an important partner for our companies. It's been an important part of the I'll call it the financing ecosystem. I believe that a Nasdaq listing is still the gold standard for a technology company in Silicon Valley.
When I think about the Valley over the last 20 years, more than anything, I think about how it's diversified its economy and how it's reinvented itself multiple times. When we went on Nasdaq in 1994, we were about maybe 150 million in revenues, and today we're about 25 billion. So as you've gone through that growth spurt from 1994 all the way to today, we've gone back to the equity markets many times. Certainly one of the most important thing with Nasdaq is it's kind of a stamp of authenticity, if you will. It creates a certain image for our suppliers and for our customers.
Prospects for future companies in Silicon Valley are absolutely great.
Silicon Valley is still has tremendous advantages to it.
Every decade or so, people think that it's done, it's over. And then a whole bunch of new stuff is always getting invented. There is just always plenty of opportunity in Silicon Valley.
A lot of the breakthrough technologies that we're going to see in energy are going to come out of this valley, which wasn't around 20 years ago. I think it makes it unique. I don't think there's anywhere else on Earth that's quite the same.